Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
That looked as though they were not going to be able to get off.
God's love be with you.
15 seconds, velocity 2,900 feet per second, altitude 9 nautical miles, downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade. And the papers want to know whose shirt you wear.
Welcome aboard our spaceship of exploration. Today, as we travel through space and time, this will serve as our vessel. So get ready, take your seats, strap yourself in, and brace yourselves as we analyze the past and look to the future. Here we go.
Humanity has always been obsessed with pushing its boundaries and redefining the final frontier, embarking on perilous journeys across foreign seas and daunting expanses of land. From the European maritime explorers to Lewis, Clark, Sacagawea, and the Corps of Discovery, and even the travelers battling dysentery on the Oregon Trail, a certain manifest destiny has ingrained itself in the fabric of our being. After exhausting every inch of land possible through exploration, the night sky, a brilliant expanse of stars spilling endlessly overhead, providing eternal light as well as wonder, became the subject of humanity's obsession with traveling just a bit farther, seeing what's over the horizon, across the seas, and above the clouds.
Today we watch, unamazed by the normalcy that space travel has acquired. In fact, SpaceX launches have become more common than rain in Florida. However, just as Rome was not built in a day, it took ages of innovation, failures, and successes to arrive at today's Falcon Heavy. In the formative years of the 20th century, the skies remained out of reach. That is, of course, until, bewitched by Leonardo da Vinci's designs, the Wright brothers conducted multiple aerial experiments in Kitty Hawk's. This first powered flight ignited the world's modern dedication to the sky. A new frontier had just materialized, and humanity was hooked. Whoa, what's that?
Aerial technology and its seemingly limitless potential found an immediate outlet as World War I, the world's first industrialized global war, broke out in July of 1914. Nationalism and aeronautics truly interacted for the first time above the trenches of the Somme and Verdun.
But I know we'll meet again some
25 years in the invention of a jet engine later, World War II brought even more aeronautical innovations. Combined, both wars saw the invention of the first jet-propelled aircraft, aerial radio communication, synchronization gear, and long-range bomb crafts.
till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away.
The early fathers of rocketry, Hermann Oberth, Robert Goddard, and Konstantin E. Tulowitzki, set the stage for the development of modern rocketry, as humanity's obsessing with chasing the final frontier manifested itself as a contentious race between the Soviet Union and the United States for superiority in the sphere of spaceflight.
After World War II, German rocket scientists found positions in both the USSR and the United States, assisting in the development of aerial technology that would fuel the space race. Humanity finally breached the atmosphere and landed amongst the stars, expanding the final frontier past the restrictive barrier of the Kármán line, 100 kilometers above Earth, where atmosphere meets outer space.
Radio signal transmitted by the Soviet Sputnik, the first man-made satellite as it passed over New York earlier today.
With Sputnik cruising across that October sky, fear and embarrassment crept into American homes, incentivizing President Dwight D. Eisenhower to establish the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA.
And so the Cold War had a new battleground. The world's superpowers would dance among the stars in a race to see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. The USSR launches Luna 1, the first cosmic rocket. The United States launches the world's first weather satellite, Explorer 6. Yuri Gagarin becomes the first man to reach space in the USSR's Vostok 1. Mariner 4 performs the first successful voyage to Mars. Aboard the USS Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin become the first men to walk on the moon.
I'm going to step off the limb. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful.
Fueled by the writings of the golden age of science fiction, spaceflight gained a household reputation, dipping its toes into the murky waters of consumerism with commercial satellites and Apollo-themed merchandise.
Innovation breeds innovation, and innovation leads to improvements. We saw the development of the space shuttle, a reusable vessel that could complete more complicated tasks, bring nations together, with the different components being completed by different space programs. And though the shuttle program inspired many and increased interest in space travel, it also served as a chilling reminder of the dangers of space exploration.
U.S.-Soviet relations thawed with the Apollo-Soyuz project, and the public's discomfort with ambitious space exploration grew as a series of technological mishaps culminated in the 2003 Columbia shuttle accident. Following the accident, progress in the realm of space travel began to gradually decline. In total, 14 people were killed during 2 faulty flights in the space shuttle program, and humanity's fixation on the final frontier of space was deterred. With the rapid technological advancements the 21st century brought, man's eyes once again turned to the stars, filled with wonder and newfound determination. In the center of humanity's unending dance with the final frontier, eccentric billionaires set their sights on the expanse of interstellar space.
Founded in 2002 with Elon Musk's own personal fortune as a founder of PayPal and an interest in seeing man on the red planet, SpaceX was born. Since its initial conception, it has truly evolved, developing its Starlink program, commercializing its launches, revolutionizing what it means for a rocket to be reusable, and decreasing the overall cost of space travel. SpaceX's imprint on this frontier is heavily felt, and the company has no plans to lift their foot off the pedal. Blue Origin was the brainchild of Jeff Bezos, who even during his high school years had his sights set beyond the sky. Similar to Musk's SpaceX, Blue Origin seeks to lower the cost of space travel and offers commercial services with its technologies. Sir Richard Branson's path has been more tumultuous. Founding Virgin Galactic with his position as founder at the Virgin Group, the program has had many fallacies, including multiple deaths within the program. Despite this, Virgin Galactic continues to pursue its goal to commercialize space travel. These capitalist space giants have shifted humanity's relationship with space from one of curious exploration to conquest, bringing the interstellar domain into the fold of commercialism. Space exploration has become inseparable from consumerism, and capital accumulation as carrier rockets, planetary and asteroid colonization, and asteroid material harvesting have become humanity's focus in the field. The seemingly unending excitement and advancement has led many to turn a blind eye to the complications that arise from such extreme levels of privatization.
After a drawn-out year, newly pronounced richest man in the world, Elon Musk, has reaffirmed the weight of his desire to colonize Mars, declaring his plans to send 1 million people to the Red Planet by 2050 on a fleet of 1,000 starships.
I think that's why it's important to get a self-sustaining base, ideally on Mars, because Mars is far enough away from Earth that a war on Earth, the Mars base might survive. It's more likely to survive than a moon base. But I think a moon base and a Mars base that could perhaps help regenerate life back here on Earth would be really important, and to get that done before a possible World War III.
Yet in the midst of the excitement of possibly becoming an interplanetary species, many have glossed over the fact that Musk's plan to make space travel affordable by offering loans for those who don't have money and jobs on Mars for colonists to pay off their debts bears a striking resemblance to indentured servitude.
Yeah, wonderful. It's great.
Both the final frontier for humanity and for commercialism. Each step forward from this point, no matter how small, sets a precedent for future endeavors in the stars as space exploration shifts from national interest to private interest. Robert Bigelow, the founder of Bigelow Aerospace, promotes private enterprises annexing celestial bodies in favor of nations building empires. Yet this outcome of nations building space empires is extremely unlikely considering the fact that the 1967 Outer Space Treaty that assisted in de-escalating tensions surrounding the space race established strict parameters regarding expansionism in space. Outer space, including the moon and other celestial bodies, is not subject to national appropriation by claim of sovereignty, by means of use or occupation, or by any other means. On the other hand, private enterprises could argue that they do not fall under the restrictions of this treaty due to their identity as private businesses and not nations. Another gray area comes into play when considering man-made celestial bodies, which do not fall under the parameters of this treaty, and the potential for connecting facilities to allow indirect colonization of celestial bodies by private entities.
Additionally, commercial space enterprises pose the threat of creating a dependence on these enterprises in sovereign states, producing an even more advanced form of capitalism and commercialism, as private entities could hold the monopoly of rare metals on Earth, devaluing those on the planet and blurring the line between corporation and nation. The application of antitrust and labor laws in space also possesses a heavy future precedent that needs to be set. Can a country implement antitrust laws on a corporation that has a majority of its assets in space? Moving away from the economic aspect of space exploration, the prospect for interplanetary prejudice arises, producing the possibility for discrimination against those born on a certain planet. This potential discrimination is inescapably connected to the commercialization of space, as those who make up the future colonies, the ones who aren't working jobs or serving as indentured servants to pay off their debts, will most likely be the upper class, leaving the lower classes on Earth. Should conditions on Earth continue to deteriorate, the potential for raised flight prices and a ticket into the stars is a very real possibility.
From a scientific standpoint, the commercialization of space poses an incentive for scientists and investors alike to turn their attention away from environmental and earth sciences in favor of more lucrative scientific fields related to humanity's conquest of space. In this highly commercialized new space age, there is also the possibility for the commodification of scientists and the privatization of scientific knowledge, widening the gap between commercial spaceflight and the expansion of overall human knowledge through science.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through space and time, analyzing how space travel has evolved and cautioning against what it might become. We do not think that space travel will just come to an end. However, it is important to take lessons from the past and apply them to the future. We can't let the same things that have happened on Earth happen in our following endeavors. And now, as we close the door on our journey together, I would like to ask, how much is enough? How much can we humans take from the universe before we receive our just retribution? And of course, how's life on Mars?
To the girl with the mousy hair, but her mommy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go, but her friend is nowhere to be seen. Now she walks through her sunken dream to the seat with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a sad thing for she's lived it 10 times or more. She could spit in the eyes of fools if they ask her to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the low man beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if you'll ever know who's in the best-selling show. Is there life